Chapter 4. Preparing for the Unknown. The journey back from the mountains was arduous for Ape King Gorgon and his group. The memory of the strange being he had seen lingered in his mind, its towering metallic form etched vividly into his thoughts. The trek was slow, partly due to the dense forest and rocky terrain, but also because of the somber mood following the loss of one of their best soldiers. When they finally reached their village, Gorgon was greeted with a mixture of relief and concern from his mate, Clara, and his two sons, Juntu and Suntu. The village, nestled in a broad valley surrounded by dense forest and rolling hills, was a bustling hub of activity. Wooden huts with thatched roofs dotted the landscape, and smoke from cooking fires rose into the clear sky. The sight of their king returning with a heavy heart and a worried expression quickly spread throughout the village, and soon everyone was gathered in the central square, eager to hear what had transpired. Gorgon addressed his people, his voice resonant with authority. "We have encountered something beyond our understanding in the mountains," he began. "A strange being, unlike any we have seen before. It is large, armored, and accompanied by machines that we cannot fathom. We must prepare for whatever may come." The villagers listened in silence, the weight of his words sinking in. Clara stepped forward, placing a reassuring hand on Gorgon's arm. "What do you propose, my king?" she asked. "We will build walls around our village," Gorgon declared. "Strong walls that will protect us from any threat. Every able-bodied ape must contribute. We will also gather food and supplies as if we are preparing for a long winter. We do not know what these beings want, but we will be ready for them." The days that followed were filled with intense activity. Under Gorgon's leadership, the villagers worked tirelessly to erect sturdy wooden walls around the village. Trees were felled, logs were shaped and stacked, and a sense of urgency pervaded the air. The clang of hammers and the rustle of leaves became the soundtrack of their days as they fortified their home against the unknown. News of Gorgon's encounter spread to neighboring villages, and soon other leaders arrived to discuss the situation. Among them were Taruk of the northern hills, Bera of the eastern forests, and Kira of the southern plains. They gathered in Gorgon's longhouse, a large structure at the heart of the village, built from the thickest timbers and decorated with trophies from hunts and battles. Taruk, a burly ape with a mane of silver fur, spoke first. "Gorgon, we have heard of the strange beings you encountered. Do you believe they pose a threat to us?" Gorgon nodded. "I do not know their intentions, but we cannot take any chances. Their size and the machines they wield suggest they are capable of great harm. We must all prepare our villages as we are preparing ours." Bera, a lean and agile ape with sharp eyes, leaned forward. "Have you seen more of these beings? Do they move in groups, or are they solitary?" "We saw only one, but that does not mean there are not more," Gorgon replied. "Our scouts have reported strange sights and sounds in the forest. We must be vigilant and ready to defend ourselves." Kira, the youngest of the leaders, with a thoughtful expression, asked, "What do you propose we do if they come to our villages?" "Strengthen your defenses," Gorgon said. "Train your warriors. Gather supplies. We must be united in our readiness. If they come, we will fight to protect our homes and our families." The leaders nodded in agreement, understanding the gravity of the situation. They left Gorgon's village with a renewed sense of purpose, ready to prepare their own people for the unknown. Back in his village, Gorgon doubled the training sessions for his warriors. They practiced hand-to-hand combat, honed their skills with swords and bows, and ran drills to improve their coordination and response times. Juntu, Gorgon's eldest son, showed great promise as a warrior, his movements swift and precise. Suntu, though younger, watched with keen interest, eager to join the ranks of the fighters. Clara, meanwhile, oversaw the gathering of food and supplies. The villagers collected roots, berries, and nuts, hunted game, and dried meat for storage. They prepared as if a long and harsh winter was upon them, ensuring they would not be caught unprepared. One day, while scouting in the forest, a group of Gorgon's warriors stumbled upon a clearing where the strange beings had set up camp. The warriors, led by the seasoned fighter Tark, observed from the cover of the trees. The beings moved with purpose, gathering resources and setting up their machines, which glowed with an eerie light. "They are like nothing we have seen before," whispered one of the warriors, a young ape named Loro. Tark nodded. "We must not engage them. We do not know their strength or their intentions. We will watch and report back to the king." The warriors watched as the beings worked, their movements efficient and calculated. They appeared to be gathering minerals from the ground and setting up strange devices that emitted a soft hum. After a while, the warriors quietly retreated and made their way back to the village to report their findings. Gorgon listened intently to Tark's report, his brow furrowed in thought. "They are gathering resources," he mused. "They are setting up their machines. This means they plan to stay, at least for a while." "What should we do, Father?" Juntu asked, his eyes wide with concern. "We will continue to prepare," Gorgon replied. "We will not confront them, but we will watch them closely. If they pose a threat, we will be ready to defend ourselves." As the days passed, the village's defenses grew stronger, and the warriors became more skilled. Gorgon called a meeting of his elders and trusted advisors in the Great Hall, the largest structure in the village. The hall was filled with the flickering light of torches, casting long shadows on the walls adorned with carvings depicting the village's history and triumphs. Gorgon stood at the head of the table, looking at the faces of those he trusted most. "We are facing an unknown threat," he began. "These beings and their machines are unlike anything we have encountered. But we are strong, and we are prepared. We must stay vigilant and united." The elders nodded, their faces grave but resolute. Elder Marok, the oldest and wisest among them, spoke up. Marok began to speak. "There has been a report of a few missing apes in our village. One went missing last week, but we thought they may have left on their own because of the new threat. However, 2 more have gone missing this week while they were gathering in the nearby forest." Gorgon replied, "Why wasn't I told about this before?" "Because you were busy with preparations and we believed it best not to bother you until the latest 2 went missing," Marek said. Gorgon, visibly dismayed, stated, "I will have a patrol look for them. Give me the names of all 3 and we will do our best to locate them." Marek was set at ease that Gorgon did not become enraged. "We have faced many challenges before, Gorgon. This will be no different. We trust in your leadership." "Thank you, Marok," Gorgon replied. "But this is a challenge unlike any other. We must be ready for anything. We will set out a patrol at first light to search and report on the beings." As the meeting concluded, Gorgon called for his warriors to assemble in the training grounds. The sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the village. The warriors gathered, their expressions serious and determined. Gorgon addressed them, his voice strong and clear. "Warriors of our village, you have trained hard and prepared well. We face an unknown enemy, but we are not afraid. We are strong, we are united, and we are ready. No matter what comes, we will protect our home and our families. Remember our ancestors and the battles they fought. Draw strength from their courage. We will do the same." The warriors responded with a roar of approval, their spirits lifted by Gorgon's words. They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, united in their purpose and determined to protect their village. That night, as the village settled into an uneasy calm, Gorgon stood on the walls they had built, looking out into the dark forest. The flickering light of the torches illuminated his face, revealing the deep lines of worry and determination. Clara joined him, her presence a comforting reminder of the love and support that surrounded him. "Do you think we will be safe?" she asked softly. Gorgon put an arm around her, drawing her close. "I do not know what the future holds," he admitted, "but I do know that we are prepared, and we are strong. We will face whatever comes together." As the first light of dawn began to break over the mountains, Gorgon felt a renewed sense of purpose. he dispatched a patrol of a handful of apes to search for those who were missing. The next few days were filled with a mix of tense anticipation and relentless preparation. The villagers continued their efforts to fortify their homes and gather supplies. Every able-bodied ape contributed to the construction of the walls, and every warrior honed their skills under Gorgon's watchful eye. A couple of weeks after his warriors' first encounter, Gorgon spotted a group of his warriors returning from their search mission. Their expressions were a mixture of excitement and concern, and he knew they had news. "King Gorgon," Tark called as they approached. "We have not located the missing villagers, but we do have more to report about the strange beings." Gorgon listened as Tark described their latest observations. The beings had been seen constructing larger machines and setting up what appeared to be permanent structures in the forest. They moved with an eerie precision, their actions deliberate and methodical. "We also saw them gathering more resources," Loro added. "They seem to be harvesting minerals and plants. They have set up strange devices that hum and glow." Gorgon frowned, his mind racing. "We must continue to watch them, but we will not confront them. Our priority is to protect our village and our people. If they come closer or show any signs of aggression, we will be ready." As the warriors dispersed to continue their duties, Gorgon felt a heavy burden of responsibility. He knew that his people looked to him for guidance and protection, and he was determined not to let them down. That evening, Gorgon called for a village assembly in the central square. The villagers gathered, their faces illuminated by the warm glow of the fire. Gorgon stood before them, his presence commanding and reassuring. "My people," he began, "we have not located our missing apes, but we have learned more about the strange beings in the forest. They are setting up structures and gathering resources. We do not know their intentions, but we must remain vigilant. Our walls are strong and our warriors are ready. We will protect our home and our way of life." The villagers murmured their agreement, their resolve strengthened by Gorgon's words. Clara stood by his side, her presence a reminder of the love and unity that bound them all together. "We will continue to train and prepare," Gorgon continued. "We will gather supplies and fortify our defenses. But we must also remember to live our lives and support one another. We are a community, and our strength lies in our unity." The villagers nodded, their spirits lifted by their king's determination and wisdom. They returned to their tasks with renewed energy, knowing that they were prepared for whatever challenges lay ahead. In the forest, Gorgon's warriors continued to monitor the strange beings. They observed from a distance, careful not to reveal their presence. The beings' activities were puzzling and unsettling, but the warriors knew better than to confront them directly. One day, while on a reconnaissance mission, Loro and his group stumbled upon a clearing where the beings had set up a new machine. It was a towering structure, emitting a low hum and a faint blue light. The beings moved around it with purpose, their actions precise and coordinated. "What are they doing?" one of the warriors whispered. Loro shook his head. "I do not know, but we must report this to King Gorgon. We cannot risk being discovered." The warriors quietly retreated and made their way back to the village to report their findings. Gorgon listened with a mixture of awe and concern. The beings' abilities were far beyond their own, and the implications were both fascinating and frightening. "We must be cautious," Gorgon said. "We do not know their intentions, and we cannot afford to underestimate them. Continue to observe, but do not engage. Our priority is to protect our village."